They went up the mountain with all this baggage.
Baggage, that's right. That's exactly what I said. All the baggage which you have put away, the world you have put away, but you carry their baggage. You follow, sir?
Oh, goodness me.
So that is really important thing to if a mind is really very serious, to find out what religion means. Not all this rubbish. I keep on repeating because that seems to be mounting, growing. But to free the mind from all the growth, the accretions. And therefore, which means see the accretions. See all the absurdities.
It throws a very, very different cast on our word worldly.
Yes, that's just it.
They're going up the mountain in order to leave the world, but they're taking immense pains to take it with them.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they're doing when they go into the monastery.
Of course. Of course, of course, of course, of course. Goodness. Accretions, incrustations.
So can I come back? Can the mind be completely alone? Not isolated, not withdrawn, not build a wall around itself, say, and then I'm alone. But alone in the sense that aloneness that comes when you put away all this, all the things of thought. You understand? Because thought is so clever, cunning. It can build a marvelous structure and call that reality. But thought is the response of the past. So it is of time. Thought being of time cannot create something which has no time. Thought can function in that field of knowledge, it is necessary, but not in the other. And this doesn't need bravery, it doesn't need sacrifice, it doesn't need torture. Just perception of the false. To see the false is to see the truth in the false. I don't know.
To see the false is to see the truth in the false.
Of course.
I must repeat that again. To see the false is to see the truth in the false.
And see what is considered truth as the false.
Yes. Yes.
So my eyes are stripped of all the false. So that there is no inward deception whatsoever. Because there is no desire to see something, to achieve something. Because moment there is a desire to experience, to achieve, to arrive at enlightenment, all that, there is going to be illusion. Something desire has created. Therefore, the mind must be free of this pursuit of desire and its fulfillment, which we discussed previously. Understand what the structure of desire is. We went to talk about a great deal about that. So, comes to this point, can the mind be free? And free of all the things which are born of fear and desire and pleasure. That means one has to understand oneself at great depth.
The thing that keeps popping up is that one can repeat those questions.
Yes, sir.
And start to think that he has grasped them.
You grasp the words.
Exactly. There's something that you have to come out the other side of.
Quite right.
But the repetition of the question does have a functional value.
I know.
It seems to me.
Yes, sir, it does. That is, if the person is willing to listen.
If he's willing to listen. Because thought is incredibly deceitful.
Very.
As you pointed out. Goodness, I was just thinking of poor old Jeremiah's words. The heart is desperately wicked and deceitful above all things. Surely he must have
tasted something.
Yeah, and of course, as with the whole line, it did them in. You know. But I was asking myself this question concerning why I went on to continue my formal education. And in following this deeply, it seems to me to go back to something that is going to sound very absurd. But it has something to do with everything you've been talking about. When I was very small, growing up in England, I was put to school rather earlier than many American children put to school. And I was read a great deal of poetry. I don't know what's happened to us in this country, but poetry doesn't really exist for the populace at all.
I know.
But thank God I was brought up on it daily.
Yes. In England, of course, everybody reads poetry, Greek, Latin.
Right.
We all went through.
And I was always read poetry by the young woman employed by my parents to look after me and my little sister and so forth. I never went to sleep without hearing it. One day, when I was very small, at school, the teacher read The Owl and the Pussycat Went to Sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. That mad thing, marvelously mad thing, Edward Lear wrote.
Edward Lear,
yes. And you know, I was never the same again. And I know now why. This sounds absolutely absurd. I came to experience in language a splendor that I never lost touch with, despite all the struggles I had with my teachers. I had a bad time in school. To get to the end of formal education and have to say that doesn't sound very good, but I did. I had a pretty grim time. And one of the reasons for the grim time was my refusal to give this up. This
quite a pussycat in the boat.
The fact that there's a bird and a cat in the same boat.
Oh, yeah.
And the man is describing what you've called act, movement, in which truth and beauty and so on move along. Oh, goodness.
So I think we ought to, after coming up to this point, we ought to go very deeply again into the question of meditation.
Yes.
Because religion, in the sense we are talking about, and meditation go together. That means religion isn't just an idea, but it's actual conduct in daily life. Your thoughts, your